Hello there, and welcome. Tonight, we are drifting toward the quiet sands of Egypt, where wind moves like a slow breath across an ancient plateau, and a single stone face watches the horizon, not as a tourist attraction or a postcard image, but as one of the most enduring mysteries ever carved by human hands. This is the story of the great Sphinx of Giza, a monument that has survived shifting empires, rising and falling seas of sand, and thousands of years of questions without offering a single clear answer in return. For centuries, people have stood before it and felt something difficult to name. Awe, perhaps. Confusion. A subtle unease that comes from looking into a face that is both familiar and unknowable. The Sphinx is not simply large, it is immense. Carved directly from the limestone bedrock of the Giza Plateau, it stretches over 200 feet in length, its body reclining like a lion at rest, its human head lifted toward the east, where the sun rises each morning. But the mystery begins with a simple question. Why was it built? Most textbooks tell a straightforward story. The Sphinx, they say, was carved during the reign of Pharaoh Khafor around 2500 BCE. It was likely intended to represent the pharaoh himself, merging royal authority with the strength of a lion. The lion's body symbolized power. The human face signified intelligence and divine rulership. Positioned near Khafor's pyramid complex, it acted as a guardian, protecting sacred ground. Yet even this widely accepted explanation leaves space for doubt. The Sphinx does not resemble Khafor perfectly. The facial proportions differ in subtle ways. The head appears smaller relative to the body than one might expect if both were planned together. Some researchers have suggested that the head may have been recarved at a later time, perhaps from an earlier monument whose original identity has been lost to erosion and memory. That idea opens a door to deeper uncertainty. Because when you look closely at the body of the Sphinx, especially along its flanks and enclosure walls, you see something curious. The erosion patterns do not only look like wind abrasion. Some geologists have argued that the weathering resembles water damage, vertical channels, and rounded contours that suggest prolonged exposure to heavy rainfall. But Egypt has been arid for thousands of years. If the erosion truly came from significant rainfall, then the Sphinx might predate the Old Kingdom entirely. It could belong to a much earlier civilization, one that experienced a wetter climate long before the pyramids rose into the desert sky. This is where science meets speculation. Climate data shows that the Sahara was once greener, with lakes and savannas stretching across regions that are now dry. That humid period ended many thousands of years before the traditionally assigned construction date of the Sphinx. If the monument truly shows evidence of that ancient rainfall, then its origins would push backward in time, challenging established timelines of Egyptian civilization. Yet other experts disagree. They argue that wind, salt crystallization, and groundwater could produce similar patterns over millennia. Limestone is a soft stone, and erosion in the desert can be deceptive. The debate continues quietly in academic journals, measured in careful language and competing data sets. Still, the question lingers like sand caught in a fold of cloth. How old is the Sphinx? Its gaze faces directly east. Every equinox, the rising sun appears near its line of sight. Some researchers have proposed astronomical alignments that link the monument to the constellation Leo, suggesting it may have been intentionally oriented toward the sky as it appeared during a distant epoch when the sun rose in Leo during the vernal equinox. This theory connects the Sphinx's lion body with celestial symbolism, implying a grand design linking Earth and cosmos. Skeptics respond with caution. Alignments can be coincidental. Human beings are skilled at finding patterns in the heavens. Without written records confirming such intent, astronomy alone cannot rewrite history. And yet, the alignment remains there, silent and precise. The Sphinx once had a beard. Fragments of it were found near the paws and are now displayed in museums. It also once wore a royal cobra on its forehead, symbolizing divine kingship. Over time, these features fell away. The nose famously disappeared, though popular myths that it was shot off by Napoleon's soldiers have been disproven. Sketches from before Napoleon's arrival already show the nose missing. Some evidence suggests it may have been intentionally damaged during religious conflicts centuries ago, when iconoclasm swept through the region and ancient symbols were defaced. Despite these injuries, the monument remains. For much of its existence, the Sphinx was buried in sand. Only the head was visible above the desert surface. Ancient Egyptians themselves undertook restoration efforts. One of the most significant pieces of evidence comes from the dream stele, placed between the Sphinx's paws by Pharaoh Thutmose IV around 1400 BCE. According to the inscription, the young prince fell asleep in the shadow of the buried statue. In his dream, the Sphinx spoke to him, promising kingship if he cleared away the sand that covered its body. When Thutmose later became pharaoh, he fulfilled the vow and restored the monument. Whether literal or symbolic, the story shows that even in antiquity, the Sphinx was already ancient. It was a relic to those who walked among pyramids. Its purpose, though, remains partially obscured. Was it purely a royal portrait? A solar symbol? A guardian of the necropolis? Or did it serve a deeper ceremonial function lost to time? Unlike the pyramids, which contain internal chambers and passages, the Sphinx appears mostly solid. Yet surveys using ground-penetrating radar have detected anomalies beneath and around it, voids and cavities that have sparked further speculation. Some claim hidden chambers exist beneath the paws or deep within the bedrock. Others caution that natural fissures in limestone can produce such readings without implying constructed rooms. Excavations have revealed tunnels and repair shafts created during later restoration phases. The line between ancient architecture and later intervention becomes difficult to trace with certainty. What makes the Sphinx especially compelling is its silence. Egyptian civilization left abundant hieroglyphic records about temples, rituals, and pharaohs. Yet explicit references to the Sphinx's original construction are surprisingly scarce. No definitive construction inscription has been found directly attributing it to a specific ruler in a way that removes all doubt. This absence fuels imagination. Over centuries, Travelers wrote about it in awe. Greek historians described it as a marvel of the world. Medieval Arab writers attributed mystical knowledge to it. Some even believed it concealed secret wisdom from a forgotten age. The human mind resists emptiness. When history leaves gaps, stories fill them. But the physical facts remain grounded in stone. The Sphinx was carved from a single ridge of limestone, leaving a depression around it that forms its enclosure. The body stretches low and elongated, paws extended forward. The tail curls along its flank. The head, proportionally small, sits atop a broad, leonine frame. That proportion is part of the puzzle. Some argue the smaller head suggests recarving. If the original head was larger and more lion-like, later reshaping into a human visage would explain the mismatch. Others counter that artistic conventions and erosion may distort our perception of intended proportions. There is also the matter of the causeway and temple complex nearby. Blocks removed during the carving of the Sphinx were used to build adjacent temples, linking it architecturally to the 4th dynasty structures around it. This supports the conventional dating. Yet the erosion patterns complicate the narrative. Geology and archaeology sometimes speak different languages. As we consider this ancient monument, imagine the environment in which it was created. The Giza Plateau would have been alive with worker stone cutters, laborers, priests, architects. The pyramids rising behind it were engineering feats requiring organization on a massive scale. The Sphinx, carved directly from bedrock, would have demanded careful planning, shaping not by transporting stone, but by removing it. It is an act of subtraction rather than construction, and subtraction leaves fewer clues. No quarry records describe hauling massive blocks for the Sphinx because its body was already there, embedded in the earth. It emerged from the landscape like a revelation slowly uncovered. Over time, sand reclaimed it again and again. Wind moves through the plateau constantly, lifting grains and sculpting edges. For centuries, people rediscovered the Sphinx partially buried, like a memory resurfacing. Each excavation revealed its length anew, clearing paws and torso from layers of drifted sand. Restoration efforts have been frequent, especially in the modern era. Limestone blocks have been added to support eroded areas. Mortar has filled cracks. Engineers monitor structural stability carefully, as pollution and humidity threaten further deterioration. The Sphinx is both ancient and vulnerable. Its face, worn yet resolute, continues to look east. Each sunrise casts light across its features, revealing subtle contours carved thousands of years ago. Its expression appears calm, almost detached, as if time itself moves more slowly in its presence. Perhaps that is part of its mystery. It has witnessed empires rise and collapse. It has watched language evolve and religions shift. Caravans once passed nearby. Later came tourists with cameras. Now satellites map it from space. And still, it does not explain itself. Some modern theories push far beyond mainstream archaeology. They propose lost civilizations, advanced technologies, or cataclysmic resets of human history. While these ideas capture imagination, they often lack the layered evidence required by careful scholarship. Science demands patience. The Sphinx invites wonder, but it also demands restraint, because mystery does not automatically mean impossibility. It can simply mean incomplete data. When you stand before the Sphinx, you experience scale differently. Its paws are taller than a person. Its head rises high above the enclosure floor. The limestone varies in color, revealing natural strata. Weathered patches blend into repaired sections. The monument carries scars of both time and intervention. Touching the stone would mean touching a surface shaped before recorded history in many parts of the world. The lion body represents strength in Egyptian symbolism. The human head suggests wisdom and kingship. Together, they merge instinct and intellect, animal power and royal consciousness. That fusion might symbolize the pharaoh's role as both earthly ruler and divine intermediary. Yet symbolism layered over millennia can blur into myth. Ancient Egyptians called it Horim Akhet, meaning Horus of the horizon. This ties it to the sky god Horus and the daily rebirth of the sun. Positioned to face dawn, the Sphinx may have embodied cosmic cycles, the sun rising between the paws during certain times of year. Sunlight as ritual, stone as calendar. Still, much remains uncertain. Unlike later temples filled with detailed inscriptions, the Sphinx enclosure contains relatively sparse narrative carvings. The dream stele tells of restoration, not origin. Later pharaohs repaired it, honoring it as something inherited rather than newly created. It was already old when they approached it. Geological surveys continue. Laser scans map its surface in microscopic detail. Seismic tests analyze subsurface density. Scholars debate quietly, refining hypotheses. But even as technology advances, the essential experience remains simple. A face in stone, a lion at rest, a question carved into the earth. As night falls over the Giza Plateau, the Sphinx becomes something different. Floodlights illuminate its contours. Shadows deepen beneath its chin and along its paws. The desert air cools, and wind carries distant sounds softly across the sand. In that stillness, it feels less like a monument and more like a presence. Ancient, patient, watchful. And perhaps that is why it continues to hold us. Not because it refuses to answer, but because it embodies the human urge to ask, who built you? When did they stand here? What did they believe? And what have we forgotten? The mystery of the Sphinx is not a single riddle waiting for one dramatic solution. It is a layered puzzle of geology, astronomy, art, politics, and climate. Each discipline offers a piece. None yet offer total certainty. In that way, the Sphinx mirrors the mind itself. If you trace the edges of the Sphinx's enclosure walls, you notice that they are not perfectly smooth plains, but layered surfaces shaped by natural sediment lines that predate human carving. The monument was not assembled from transported blocks like the pyramids behind it. Instead, it was revealed from within the plateau itself, shaped by removing everything that did not belong to the vision. This method of creation changes how we think about intention. When builders quarry stone for pyramids, they select and transport pieces according to a blueprint. But when they carve downward into bedrock, they must adapt to whatever the geology allows. The limestone beneath Giza is not uniform. Some layers are harder and more durable. Others are softer and crumble more easily under wind and moisture. The Sphinx's body includes both. Its paws and chest were carved from firmer strata, while sections of its torso came from softer layers that have eroded more rapidly over time. This uneven weathering has required repeated reinforcement. Blocks have been inserted along the lower body during different eras to prevent collapse. These repairs form a timeline of care. Archaeologists have identified restoration campaigns from the New Kingdom, the Roman period, and even modern interventions during the 20th century. Each generation encountered the Sphinx as both inheritance and responsibility. The fact that it required repair, even in antiquity, suggests something important. The monument was exposed long enough before certain dynasties to show visible deterioration. This raises further discussion about how quickly erosion occurred and under what environmental conditions. Climate is rarely static over millennia. During the early Holocene, North Africa experienced significantly higher rainfall. Fossil lake beds and ancient river channels across the Sahara testify to that greener epoch. If the Sphinx dates entirely to the 4th dynasty, then most of its exposure occurred in a drier context. Yet some geologists argue that portions of its enclosure resemble patterns more consistent with heavy precipitation than with wind-driven abrasion alone. The debate is technical and detailed. Measurements of fissure depth, analysis of salt crystallization, and comparisons with nearby tombs are all considered. Critics of the water erosion hypothesis point out that the Sphinx enclosure sits in a natural depression where occasional runoff could concentrate water even in an otherwise arid period. Others maintain that only prolonged rainfall could have carved such rounded vertical grooves. Scientific disagreements rarely resolve quickly. They accumulate data slowly, like sand building in the corners of stone. Meanwhile, the Sphinx's orientation continues to draw attention. Facing due east, it greets the sunrise each day. Some researchers have noted that during certain ancient epochs, the sun rose against the backdrop of specific constellations that align symbolically with the lion form. Precession, the slow wobble of Earth's rotational axis, shifts the apparent position of stars over thousands of years. During one distant era, the spring equinox sunrise occurred in the constellation Leo. Advocates of astronomical dating suggest that this could connect the Sphinx's lion body with celestial symbolism tied to that time. Yet astronomical retrofitting is complex. Alignments can be interpreted in multiple ways depending on chosen reference points. Without contemporary inscriptions explicitly linking the monument to a star-based calendar, conclusions remain speculative. Still, the sky above Giza has always been part of its architecture. Ancient Egyptians observed celestial cycles carefully. The heliacal rising of Sirius marked the flooding of the Nile. Solar temples aligned with solstices. Pyramid shafts may have pointed toward circumpolar stars, associated with immortality. It would not be surprising if the Sphinx also engaged with the heavens in some deliberate manner. Another layer of mystery lies beneath its paws. In the 20th century, exploratory drilling and seismic studies detected anomalies under the monument. Reports of possible chambers circulated widely. Some expeditions proposed that voids might indicate hidden rooms carved beneath the structure. Others concluded that the anomalies were natural cavities formed by differential erosion in limestone. Subsurface imaging is rarely definitive in sedimentary rock. Yet the idea of hidden chambers continues to captivate imagination. Some link it to legends of a hall of records, a mythical archive of ancient wisdom supposedly concealed beneath the plateau. This narrative has appeared in esoteric traditions and modern speculative literature. No credible archaeological evidence has confirmed such a chamber. Excavations remain carefully controlled due to structural concerns. The monument's stability is fragile, and invasive exploration risks irreversible damage. Even without hidden rooms, the Sphinx carries secrets in its proportions. The ratio of its head to its body has been studied extensively. Some researchers note that the head appears disproportionately small relative to the length of the torso. This has led to the proposal that the original head may have been re-sculpted from an earlier form. If the head were once larger, perhaps leonine rather than human, it could explain the mismatch. Recarving would have required removing significant stone, narrowing features into a pharaonic likeness. The current face bears resemblance to royal statues of the Old Kingdom, though erosion obscures precise comparison. Facial symmetry remains surprisingly intact despite centuries of damage. The missing nose, often the subject of dramatic storytelling, was likely lost through deliberate defacement long after construction. Iconoclastic movements in medieval periods targeted ancient monuments considered idolatrous. The Sphinx endured these acts and continued to face the horizon. Its headdress, known as the nens, frames the face in pleated stone folds. Traces of pigment once colored its surface. Red ochre may have tinted the face. Blue and yellow adorned the headdress. The monument would have appeared far more vivid in antiquity than the pale limestone we see today. Color changes perception. A painted sphinx under the blazing Egyptian sun would have commanded attention differently than the weathered form we encounter now. Around it once stood temples constructed from blocks quarried during its creation. These valley and mortuary temples align with the causeways of pyramid complexes. Their architectural relationship strengthens the argument for a 4th dynasty date. Massive limestone blocks in these temples fit together with remarkable precision. Some weigh dozens of tons. Their arrangement demonstrates advanced engineering capabilities consistent with pyramid builders. If the Sphinx was carved during this period, it represents a complementary expression of the same architectural ambition. Yet uncertainty persists because of what is absent. Egyptian records from later dynasties refer to earlier monuments with reverence. However, explicit documentation of the Sphinx's commissioning has not been discovered. The Dream Stele speaks of restoration, not origin. In that inscription, the Sphinx identifies itself with the sun god, promising kingship to Thutmose IV. The language emphasizes divine authority rather than architectural detail. This suggests that even in the New Kingdom, its creation story was either assumed or already distant. Ancient monuments often accumulate layers of reinterpretation. What begins as a royal symbol can become a divine entity in its own right. Over centuries, meanings shift. Rituals adapt. Names evolve. The Sphinx may have begun as a portrait and transformed into a guardian deity. Its Arabic name, Abu al-Hol, means Father of Terror. This title likely emerged from its imposing scale rather than any malevolent association. Travelers approaching across the desert would have seen its massive silhouette rising from sand. Scale distorts familiarity. Standing beneath it, a person feels small, not only physically but temporally. The monument's survival compresses centuries into a single moment of perception. Archaeological excavations in the 19th and 20th centuries cleared the body repeatedly. Photographs from early expeditions show only the head visible above dunes. Workers used shovels and baskets to remove accumulated sand, revealing the full length once more. Each clearing reintroduced it to the world. Modern conservation faces different challenges. Rising groundwater from urban expansion threatens limestone stability. Air pollution accelerates surface decay. Engineers now monitor microfractures and apply consolidants to preserve fragile sections. Preservation becomes a race against time. Ironically, a monument built to project permanence requires constant maintenance to endure. The Sphinx's tail curls along its right flank. Its paws extend forward symmetrically, though erosion has softened edges. Between them rests the dream stele, inscribed with hieroglyphs that connect past and present. When sunlight strikes the enclosure at dawn, shadows outline its contours sharply. By midday, the limestone glows almost white. At sunset, warm tones deepen along its cheeks and chest. Light animates stone. Throughout history, artists sketched it. Scholars measured it. Poets described it. Each interpretation reflects the observer's era as much as the monument itself. In Greek mythology, a different Sphinx posed riddles to travelers. Though culturally distinct from the Egyptian statue, the shared name reinforced an aura of enigma. The Greek Sphinx guarded Thebes and demanded answers under threat of death. The Egyptian Sphinx asks no spoken riddle. Its silence is its question. Geophysical mapping continues to refine our understanding of the plateau beneath it. Variations in density suggest natural faults and cavities formed over geological timescales. Distinguishing between natural formations and human intervention requires careful analysis. Every dataset adds nuance rather than finality. Archaeology often resists dramatic conclusions. It favors incremental clarity. Even so, the Sphinx stands at the intersection of multiple disciplines. It is a geological feature shaped by human intention. It is an artistic representation embedded in architecture. It is a political statement carved into landscape. And it is a survivor. Through droughts and floods, invasions and restorations, it has remained anchored to the bedrock from which it emerged. Imagine the moment of its unveiling in antiquity. Workers stepping back as the final contours were smoothed. Priests performing rituals to consecrate the form. Offerings placed at its base. Incense rising into desert air. That inaugural moment is lost to history. Yet its effects ripple forward. The Sphinx continues to challenge assumptions about chronology and meaning. It invites skepticism and imagination in equal measure. It resists simplification. To understand how such a monument could emerge from solid ground, we have to picture the process not as sudden inspiration, but as sustained labor unfolding over seasons. The builders would first have outlined the perimeter directly onto the limestone ridge, marking the shape of the lion's body before any major cutting began. From there, trenches were carved around the outline, isolating the central mass that would become the reclining form. This approach required foresight. Once stone is removed, it cannot be returned to its original state. Every strike of a copper chisel or dolerite pounding stone would have been deliberate. Teams likely worked in coordinated stages, roughing out the broad silhouette before refining muscles, paws, and facial contours. Tool marks still faintly visible in sheltered areas suggest systematic carving rather than chaotic hacking. Horizontal striations indicate leveling. Vertical cuts show how blocks were separated for reuse in nearby temples. The very act of carving the Sphinx generated building material for adjacent structures, binding its creation to a larger architectural program. Efficiency shaped artistry. The lion's body was not sculpted in isolation. It was integrated into a ritual landscape that included causeways, courtyards, and ceremonial pathways. Processions may have passed before it during solar festivals. Priests could have approached along carefully aligned routes, using the monument as a focal point for offerings tied to the rising sun. Its position is not random. Placed near the valley temple associated with Khafre's complex, the Sphinx appears woven into the geometry of pyramid alignment. Lines drawn between pyramid corners and temple entrances intersect across the plateau in patterns suggesting careful planning. Whether symbolic or functional, this spatial coherence reinforces the idea of unified design. Yet the monument's scale exceeds mere decoration. It is approximately 73 meters long and about 20 meters high. The head alone rises several stories above ground level. Achieving proportional symmetry at that size without modern surveying tools demanded remarkable spatial awareness. Ancient Egyptian builders used plumb bobs, leveling instruments, and rope grids to maintain alignment. Precision was achieved through patience. The facial features, though worn, reveal subtle shaping around the eyes and mouth. The gaze is steady and forward-facing. The lips are neither smiling nor frowning. The expression resists clear emotion, which may have been intentional. A neutral visage carries authority without overt aggression. The ears, partially eroded, were once sharply defined. The headdress folds were carefully incised. Even the transition between lion body and human head was shaped to maintain visual continuity. Blending species in sculpture is not accidental. The lion was a symbol of guardianship in ancient Egypt. Lions often flanked temple entrances. They represented strength and vigilance. By combining this animal form with the human face, the sculptor created a hybrid being that embodied both raw power and conscious rule. This fusion suggests theological meaning. Pharaohs were seen as divine intermediaries, linking the human realm to gods. The Sphinx could represent this duality, earthly king merged with cosmic authority. Facing the dawn, it may have symbolized rebirth and eternal watchfulness over sacred space. Yet unlike later temple walls covered in hieroglyphs, the Sphinx speaks through form rather than text. Its silence amplifies interpretation. When sand covered its body repeatedly over centuries, it altered perception. Travelers encountering only the head might have imagined it emerging directly from desert like a colossal mask. This partial visibility likely contributed to legends portraying it as older than surrounding structures. Burial can transform context. As layers of sand rose and fell, the monument's base remained hidden. Only those who excavated it fully could grasp its true proportions. Each rediscovery reintroduced the lion's body to view, reminding observers of its full scale. Restoration efforts sometimes altered its surface subtly. Different eras used varying stone blocks to patch weakened areas. Some repairs are visibly distinct in color and texture. Modern conservation aims to preserve without disguising intervention, acknowledging that the Sphinx carries evidence of every attempt to save it. Time leaves fingerprints. The limestone composition includes microfossils from ancient seabeds. Millions of years before human hands shaped the plateau, it lay beneath shallow ocean waters. The Sphinx, therefore, carries geological memory far older than civilization. It is carved from marine history. When wind blows across its surface today, it interacts with stone that once rested beneath waves. The erosion patterns tell stories not only of human neglect or care, but of deep time cycles that precede recorded history. This layering of temporal scales intensifies its aura. Archaeologists examining nearby quarries have identified the exact strata from which temple blocks were cut. By matching geological layers between the Sphinx enclosure and adjacent temples, they trace how removed material was repurposed. This strengthens arguments that its carving coincided with large-scale construction at Giza. Stone becomes evidence. The orientation of tool marks suggests organized crews rather than ad hoc sculptors. Logistics would have required food supply chains, water transport, and labor coordination, similar to pyramid building operations. Such infrastructure existed most prominently during the 4th dynasty, lending weight to conventional dating. Still, questions linger in fine details. The angle of the Sphinx's head differs slightly from perfect alignment with its body. Some interpret this as artistic choice. Others suggest later modification. Subtle asymmetries provoke speculation precisely because the monument appears otherwise deliberate. Even erosion patterns vary across its surface. Wind-driven sand impacts predominantly from certain directions depending on seasonal patterns. Researchers have mapped microabrasion to determine prevailing winds over centuries. The desert is not static. It shifts, influencing how monuments weather. Water infiltration from occasional storms seeps into cracks, dissolving mineral bonds. When temperatures fluctuate, expansion and contraction widen fractures. Over millennia, these subtle forces reshape contours originally carved with intention. Preservation requires understanding these processes intimately. Laser scanning now creates digital models accurate to millimeters. These scans allow conservationists to track surface changes over time, identifying areas at risk. Technology thus becomes a modern guardian alongside ancient symbolism. The Sphinx's interior is largely solid bedrock, yet small cavities exist from natural fissures and later drilling. None have revealed secret chambers filled with scrolls or artifacts. Instead, they reveal limestone's vulnerability and the care needed to prevent collapse. Reality often resists romantic expectation, yet the absence of hidden treasure does not diminish mystery. Sometimes the enigma lies not in what is concealed beneath, but in why it was conceived at all. Consider the social atmosphere of Old Kingdom Egypt. Centralized authority allowed monumental construction projects unprecedented in scale. Pharaohs expressed legitimacy through architecture, embedding ideology in stone. The Sphinx may have been propaganda as much as piety. Positioned prominently near royal complexes, it projected stability and cosmic alignment. Visitors approaching the necropolis would encounter its gaze before reaching pyramid entrances. It declared guardianship over the realm of the dead. Guardianship implies boundary. The plateau marked a threshold between cultivated Nile Valley and open desert. Beyond lay unknown expanse. The Sphinx, seated at that edge, embodied watchfulness at civilization's margin. Its paws extend forward, not in aggression, but in poised stillness. The lion rests, yet remains alert. This posture communicates vigilance without motion. Stone can suggest readiness without movement. During Roman occupation, repairs were conducted again. Inscriptions from that period attest to continued reverence. Even foreign rulers recognized its symbolic power. Empires change, but awe persists. Medieval travelers described it as marvel and puzzle. Some believed it held astrological significance. Others attributed magical properties. Interpretation reflects era more than object. The Sphinx absorbs projection. Its face becomes canvas for human curiosity. Its weathered expression invites narrative. Archaeological surveys in the 20th century clarified structural weaknesses, particularly around the chest and neck. Reinforcement blocks were added carefully to prevent fragmentation. The monument's survival now depends on ongoing stewardship. Stewardship transforms meaning. Once built to project permanence, it now relies on active intervention. Preservation becomes collaboration between ancient craftsmanship and modern science. As twilight descends over Giza, shadows stretch across the enclosure floor. The Sphinx appears to sink slightly into darkness, while its upper face remains illuminated. This interplay of light and shadow alters perception of scale. Under moonlight, contours soften further. Silence deepens around it at night. Wind traces along the plateau, carrying fine grains that whisper against stone. The monument neither resists nor yields. It endures. And as we move even deeper into its layered past, into the cultural imagination it has shaped, and the scientific methods still probing its age, we continue to circle the same central truth. If you step back and widen the frame beyond the monument itself, the plateau becomes part of the story. The Sphinx does not stand alone in emptiness. It is surrounded by quarries, temples, causeways, mastabas, and the towering pyramids that define Giza's silhouette. The landscape was engineered with intention, shaped into a ceremonial stage where geometry, sunlight, and stone interacted in deliberate harmony. The alignment of the pyramids themselves has long fascinated researchers. Their edges correspond closely with cardinal directions, suggesting astronomical observation of high precision. When you place the Sphinx within this broader layout, it becomes part of a cosmological arrangement rather than an isolated sculpture. Orientation was language. In ancient Egyptian thought, East symbolized rebirth. The sun rose there each morning, renewing life. West represented the realm of the dead, where the sun descended beyond the horizon. The Sphinx, facing east, watches the moment of emergence rather than decline. This directional symbolism may explain its posture. It greets light. At certain times of year, sunlight pours directly along the axis between the Sphinx and nearby temples. Ritual events could have been synchronized with these alignments. Priests may have stood within the Valley Temple at dawn, watching the sun crest the horizon directly before the monumental guardian. Light becomes ceremony. Stone becomes clock. Such coordination does not require advanced technology by modern standards, but it does require patience, repeated observation, and cultural emphasis on celestial order. Ancient Egyptian architecture consistently reflects this devotion to alignment and rhythm. The Sphinx also sits at a slight angle relative to the main pyramid grid, a subtle deviation that has prompted discussion. Some argue it reflects adaptation to the natural rock formation beneath. Others suggest symbolic reasoning linked to topography. The plateau itself slopes gently. Builders did not carve on a perfectly flat plane. They worked within the constraints of geological layers, adjusting orientation as needed. Even monumental ambition bends slightly to natural structure. This interplay between intention and limitation echoes across its surface. Examine the chest area, where erosion has hollowed deeper cavities. Here, restoration blocks contrast with original limestone. Conservation teams face ongoing challenges stabilizing this vulnerable section. Moisture retention in lower strata accelerates decay. Environmental conditions have shifted dramatically since antiquity. Urban expansion around Giza has altered groundwater levels. Agricultural irrigation increases subsurface moisture. Modern pollution introduces chemical reactions not present thousands of years ago. These factors complicate preservation efforts. The monument now lives in a different climate than the one in which it was carved. Scientific teams analyze stone samples to understand mineral composition. Microbial growth on limestone surfaces is monitored. Conservation is no longer simple cleaning or patching. It is interdisciplinary research involving chemistry, geology, and engineering. Preservation becomes experiment. The Sphinx's face, though iconic, is only one portion of its significance. The body's elongated form suggests calm strength rather than dramatic motion. There is no tension in its limbs, no bared teeth. It does not leap or roar. It waits. Waiting itself becomes symbolic. Some scholars propose that this stillness reflects eternal guardianship rather than active defense. A guardian need not attack. Presence alone deters. The dream stele placed between its paws reinforces this role. Though weathered, the hieroglyphs recount divine speech promising kingship. Whether literal dream or political narrative, the inscription elevates the monument to intermediary between human ambition and divine will. Kingship tied to restoration. Restoration tied to legitimacy. By clearing sand from the Sphinx, Thutmose IV demonstrated devotion to ancestral monuments, reinforcing his right to rule. The act of preservation became political capital. Thus, the Sphinx influenced power long after its creation. Centuries later, during Islamic periods, scholars speculated about its origins. Some attributed it to pre-flood civilizations. Others linked it to mythical sages who possessed lost wisdom. The absence of clear origin stories allowed imagination to flourish. Ambiguity invites myth. Modern alternative theories continue this tradition, proposing timelines stretching back far beyond accepted archaeology. While mainstream scholarship emphasizes evidence-based chronology, speculative narratives persist because mystery exerts gravitational pull. Humans seek beginnings. The Sphinx offers no inscription naming its sculptor, no diary of its dedication ceremony, no explicit blueprint preserved in papyrus. Its creators left stone, but few written explanations. This silence intensifies fascination. Technological advances have enabled detailed 3D reconstructions of its original appearance. Digital modeling estimates missing features and simulates pigmentation. These reconstructions reveal a monument once sharper in profile, more vivid in color, perhaps even more imposing in presence. Imagination fills erosion. Yet even with digital clarity, the essential question remains not how it looked, but why it was conceived in that specific form. The choice of lion body connects to broader patterns across Egypt and neighboring cultures. Hybrid guardian figures appear at temple entrances in various forms: human-headed lions, ram-headed sphinxes, even falcon-bodied statues. The blending of human intellect with animal force symbolizes control over chaos. Control was central to Egyptian cosmology. The concept of Mat represented order, balance, and harmony in the universe. Pharaoh's duty was to uphold this balance against forces of disorder. The Sphinx, embodying power restrained within calm posture, may visually express that cosmic responsibility. It becomes ideology in limestone. Across the plateau, inscriptions within tombs speak of journeys through afterlife, of judgment and rebirth. The Sphinx, stationed at the threshold of necropolis, could represent passage between worlds, a sentinel at the boundary. Even erosion patterns contribute to symbolic interpretation. Weathered lines across its flanks resemble natural aging, like wrinkles marking endurance. Time itself has sculpted alongside ancient artisans. The desert is collaborator. Wind removes details slowly, grain by grain. What remains after millennia is not pristine original, but a fusion of intention and weather. Archaeological ethics now emphasize minimal intervention to preserve authenticity. Restoration avoids oversmoothing or recreating lost features without certainty. A monument's current form carries its history of survival. Authenticity includes damage. At sunrise, shadows emphasize the depth of its eye sockets. Light pools beneath its chin. Visitors standing below often describe a sensation difficult to articulate, something between insignificance and connection. Scale alters perception of self. In the presence of structures that predate entire civilizations, human concerns shrink momentarily. The Sphinx compresses personal timelines against geological vastness. It has witnessed pharaohs entombed, empires conquered, religions transformed, languages forgotten. And yet, it remains physically fixed to the same coordinates on Earth. Satellite imagery now tracks erosion rates. Climate modeling predicts future stressors. International teams collaborate to secure its stability for generations ahead. Preservation extends beyond national pride. It becomes global responsibility. Tourism introduces both risk and awareness. Foot traffic increases environmental strain, but also fosters appreciation. The monument exists in tension between accessibility and protection. Balance again emerges as theme. The Sphinx balances lion and human, desert and river, stone and sky, antiquity and modernity. Every new theory adds layer without removing earlier ones entirely. The most cautious scholars accept conventional dating while acknowledging unresolved geological questions. The most speculative imagine forgotten epics. Between these poles lies ongoing inquiry. Archaeology does not promise final answers. It accumulates probability. Each survey refines context. Each excavation clarifies relationships. Yet the core experience of standing before the Sphinx remains unchanged by academic debate. A monumental presence anchored in bedrock. Long before photography, the Sphinx traveled through the world in sketches and written impressions. Early explorers approached it not only as archaeologists, but as witnesses to something almost mythic. Their journals described the sensation of arriving at Giza after long journeys across desert, the sudden emergence of that enormous face against the sky. Travel accounts shaped perception. Artists exaggerated scale. Writers layered drama onto silence. Romantic painters in the 19th century often depicted the Sphinx half buried in swirling dunes beneath storm-filled skies, emphasizing mystery over measurement. In these images, the monument became symbol of lost knowledge and ancient wisdom rather than object of geological study. Imagination amplified shadow. European fascination with Egypt during the colonial era transformed the Sphinx into a cultural icon. It appeared in poetry as embodiment of time's indifference. It was described as smiling enigmatically at the folly of human ambition. Its stillness became metaphor for endurance beyond empire. Literature projected philosophy onto stone. Poets wrote of civilizations crumbling, while the Sphinx remained unmoved. Novelists placed secret passages beneath it. Mystics imagined it guarding cosmic truths accessible only through initiation. Each era used the monument as mirror for its own obsessions. Yet beneath metaphor, the physical structure persisted unchanged. Archaeological documentation gradually replaced romantic speculation with measurement. Surveyors mapped its dimensions with precision. Engineers studied stress lines. Egyptologists contextualized it within Old Kingdom theology. Science reduced exaggeration, but did not eliminate wonder. The Sphinx also influenced architecture far beyond Egypt. Neo-Egyptian design elements appeared in European and American buildings during periods of fascination with antiquity. Smaller Sphinx statues flanked entrances to museums, gardens, and cemeteries. Replication signals reverence. The hybrid guardian form traveled across continents, detached from its original religious context, yet retaining aura of mystery. In this way, the Sphinx transcended geography, embedding itself into global visual culture. Cinema added another layer. Films portrayed it as gateway to hidden chambers, as silent witness to supernatural events, as guardian of cursed treasure. These portrayals reinforced associations between ancient Egypt and secrecy. The monument's real archaeological debates rarely entered popular storytelling. Drama required deeper concealment. The Sphinx became shorthand for riddle. Despite cultural reinterpretation, its material reality remains rooted in limestone and stratigraphy. Scholars continue analyzing microfractures in the neck area, where stress concentration threatens long-term stability. Structural modeling predicts how weight distribution across the elongated body affects load-bearing capacity. Even stillness requires balance. The head rests on a relatively narrow neck compared to body mass. This proportion, though visually subtle, influences stress dynamics. Engineers monitor potential shear zones where softer layers meet harder ones. Weathering accelerates weakness in specific areas. Salt crystallization inside porous stone expands during humidity cycles, widening fissures invisibly at first. Conservation efforts include desalination techniques to slow internal damage. Protecting the Sphinx now involves understanding microscopic processes invisible to casual observers. Stone breathes slowly. Temperature shifts cause expansion and contraction. Night cooling contracts surface layers. Daytime heat expands them. Over thousands of cycles, this motion reshapes contours at imperceptible pace. Time works without urgency. Visitors today approach along designated paths, guided by barriers preserving distance. Photographs capture its profile from carefully framed angles. Drones provide aerial perspectives once unimaginable. Technology multiplies viewpoints. From above, the Sphinx appears integrated within quarry depression, emphasizing how much material was removed to reveal its form. From ground level, scale overwhelms. Perspective alters experience. Archaeological ethics have evolved alongside technology. Earlier excavations sometimes prioritized exposure over preservation. Modern practice balances curiosity with caution. Intrusive drilling is minimized. Monitoring replaces excavation unless structural necessity demands intervention. Restraint becomes wisdom. Within scholarly circles, debate continues about stylistic comparison between the Sphinx's face and statues attributed to Khafre. Some note similarities in cheekbone structure and headdress proportions. Others argue erosion prevents definitive identification. Facial recognition across millennia is imperfect science. Yet even without absolute certainty, contextual evidence linking quarry blocks and temple construction strengthens traditional chronology. Probability often replaces proof. The Sphinx's symbolic resonance also extends into psychological interpretation. Its dual nature animal body, human face invites reflection on instinct and reason coexisting. In modern discourse, it sometimes represents the integration of primal energy with conscious control. Hybrid form becomes metaphor for human complexity. Ancient creators likely intended theological meaning rather than psychological allegory, yet symbolic richness transcends original purpose. Across centuries, storms have swept across the plateau. Sandstorms obscure visibility entirely at times, coating surfaces in fresh layers. Each storm reenacts cycles of burial and exposure experienced since antiquity. The desert rehearses history repeatedly. During certain restoration phases, scaffolding encased parts of the monument. Temporary frameworks juxtaposed modern materials against ancient stone. Photographs from those moments reveal contrast between steel and limestone. Past meets present physically. Tour guides narrate stories of pharaohs and gods. Scholars lecture on stratigraphy. Children stare upward in awe. The monument accommodates all interpretations without comment. Silence allows multiplicity. International organizations now classify it as heritage of global significance. Its preservation transcends national boundaries. Cooperative agreements support funding, research, and conservation training. Protection becomes collective endeavor. Meanwhile, local communities maintain livelihoods connected to tourism. The Sphinx influences economy as well as imagination. Its image appears on souvenirs, currency, and educational materials. Iconography sustains commerce. Yet beyond economic value lies intangible impact. The monument invites contemplation of time beyond personal lifespan. It situates human existence within broader continuum of geological and cultural evolution. Continuity humbles. Archaeologists working on site often describe a feeling distinct from academic detachment. Fieldwork at Giza involves daily proximity to structures thousands of years old. Measurement tools and notebooks exist alongside ancient stone surfaces shaped by unknown hands. Proximity collapses centuries. The Sphinx's scale resists full comprehension at once. One cannot see its entire body clearly while standing close to it. You must move, step back, shift angle. Understanding requires motion. Perhaps that is fitting. The mystery surrounding its origin has never remained static. Hypotheses shift as new evidence emerges. interpretations refine gradually. Certainty remains partial. Stone endures ambiguity gracefully. As sunlight travels across its face each day, shadows redraw contours slightly differently. No two mornings present identical interplay of light and relief. Change exists within constancy. And as we move still deeper, not toward conclusion, but toward another dimension of its enduring presence, we begin to consider how the Sphinx functions not only as artifact of past civilizations, but as active participant in humanity's evolving dialogue with history itself. When historians speak of monuments, they often distinguish between objects that belong to the past and objects that continue to shape the present. The Sphinx belongs to both categories at once. It is ancient in origin, yet contemporary in influence. Each new generation encounters it not as static relic, but as living reference point in conversations about time, identity, and memory. History does not remain sealed. Archaeological interpretation evolves alongside methods of inquiry. In the early 20th century, excavation focused primarily on uncovering and documenting visible structures. Later decades introduced radiometric dating, sediment analysis, and refined stratigraphic mapping. Today, digital scanning and non-invasive imaging allow scholars to gather information without physically altering surfaces. Knowledge expands without touching stone. As new tools emerge, older conclusions are re-examined, not to discard them recklessly, but to test them against finer resolution. This process keeps the Sphinx intellectually active. It resists final categorization because inquiry itself continues. The monument has also become symbol in debates about the antiquity of civilization. Some view it as anchor point in established historical timelines. Others see it as possible anomaly, suggesting deeper human past. Controversy attracts attention. Yet within professional archaeology, conclusions are built slowly. Excavation layers, artifact association, construction sequence, and comparative analysis collectively support mainstream dating to the Fourth Dynasty. That consensus rests on accumulated context rather than single decisive artifact. Context outweighs spectacle. Even so, unresolved details remain open for exploration. The specific sequence of carving, whether head or body was shaped first, remains topic of discussion. The extent of initial smoothing versus later recutting invites further analysis. Carving leaves traces. Microscopic examination of chisel marks can sometimes distinguish between phases of work. Differences in tool depth and direction may reveal adjustments made after initial shaping. Such details illuminate craftsmanship rather than overturn chronology. Craft matters as much as chronology. The Sphinx's shoulders reveal curvature, suggesting careful attention to anatomy. Though stylized, the lion form carries subtle musculature beneath its surface. Ancient sculptors did not merely outline generic shape. They conveyed strength through contour. Stone mimics flesh. This artistic sensitivity implies highly trained artisans, not unskilled labor. Mastery of proportion at monumental scale requires understanding of how light interacts with form. Shadows accentuate depth, creating illusion of vitality even in immobility. Light animates volume. Beyond artistic and geological study, the Sphinx plays role in national narrative. For modern Egypt, it represents continuity of cultural heritage. It appears in textbooks, tourism campaigns, and diplomatic imagery. Its profile signals antiquity recognized worldwide. Identity anchors in monument. The responsibility of stewardship, therefore, carries emotional as well as scientific weight. Preserving it becomes an act of honoring ancestral achievement. Climate projections suggest increased temperature extremes and unpredictable rainfall patterns in coming decades. Conservation teams prepare contingency strategies to mitigate impact. Protective measures may include improved drainage systems and stone consolidation techniques. Future challenges require anticipation. While engineers monitor physical stability, cultural scholars examine how perception of the Sphinx shifts in digital age. Social media circulates its image instantly across continents. Virtual reality recreations allow immersive exploration without physical presence. Experience transforms through technology. Yet digital representation cannot replicate standing before it in desert air, hearing wind pass across enclosure walls. Embodied presence differs from screen image. The Sphinx also influences philosophical thought. Its enduring gaze inspires reflection on mortality and permanence. Civilizations built monuments to defy forgetting, yet erosion demonstrates inevitability of change. Durability is relative. Compared to human lifespan, the Sphinx seems eternal. Compared to geological timescales, it is recent. Perspective adjusts significance. The plateau beneath it once lay underwater millions of years ago. In distant future, tectonic shifts and climate cycles will reshape the region again. The monument occupies narrow interval in planetary timeline. Temporal humility emerges. Archaeological teams occasionally uncover small artifacts near the enclosure pottery fragments, tools, debris from restoration efforts. These objects offer glimpses into daily activities surrounding the monument across centuries. Life-surrounded monument. Workers camped nearby during excavations. Priests conducted rituals. Travelers rested in its shade. Each interaction left subtle traces. Material culture accumulates around central stone. The Sphinx has survived earthquakes, though minor fractures suggest seismic stress over centuries. Structural analysis indicates that while generally stable, certain stress points require reinforcement to withstand future tremors. Earth itself moves. Even bedrock is not immutable. When night falls and artificial lights illuminate its form, photographers capture dramatic contrasts between ancient sculpture and modern infrastructure. Electric glow outlines contours once defined solely by sun and moon. Technology reframes antiquity. Despite illumination, darkness beyond plateau remains expansive. The desert stretches outward silently, reminding observers that monuments exist within vast landscapes. Context exceeds object. The Sphinx's story intertwines geology, engineering, theology, politics, art, and modern science. Each lens reveals facet without exhausting whole. Multiplicity defines mystery. Perhaps the reason it continues to captivate lies not in unanswered question alone, but in layered complexity that resists reduction. It invites careful observation rather than immediate conclusion. Observation cultivates patience. Standing before it, one senses accumulation of human attention across millennia. Generations have looked at the same profile, wondered similar things, argued differing interpretations. Continuity of curiosity becomes shared heritage. The Sphinx does not change expression in response. Its silence does not signal indifference, but endurance. Endurance carries weight. As long as inquiry persists, the monument remains active participant in dialogue between past and present. Each new study adds thread to tapestry of understanding, even if no single thread resolves entire pattern. Understanding unfolds gradually, and as we continue moving not toward final answer, but deeper into layers of meaning embedded within stone and story, the Sphinx remains where it has always been, watching the horizon as questions rise and settle like sand around its ancient form. If we shift our attention from the monument's exterior to the human experience of encountering it, something subtle begins to unfold. Long before measurements, before hypotheses and academic debate, there is the moment of arrival. A person steps onto the plateau, heat rising from the sand, and the Sphinx appears not gradually, but all at once. It does not tower vertically like the pyramids. It stretches. That horizontal expanse alters perception. The eye travels along its body before lifting to the face. This movement creates a quiet sequence pause, chest, neck, head like reading a line of stone across the earth. Movement through space becomes part of interpretation. Approaching from different angles changes the monument's character. From the front, symmetry dominates. From the side, the elongated form emphasizes patience rather than power. From above, the carved depression surrounding it becomes visible, revealing the act of excavation as much as the act of sculpting. Seeing requires position. Ancient visitors would have experienced similar shifts. Processional routes likely guided perspective intentionally. A gradual reveal can heighten impact more effectively than sudden confrontation. Architecture across Egypt demonstrates awareness of this psychological effect, corridors narrowing before opening into grand halls, doorways framing statues precisely. The Sphinx may have functioned within such experiential choreography. Consider also sound. The enclosure walls surrounding the monument create a subtle acoustic environment. Wind moving across limestone produces low murmurs. Footsteps echo softly within the hollowed space. Ancient rituals conducted that would have resonated differently in an open desert. Stone shapes not only sight, but hearing. Temperature shifts further alter atmosphere. Morning coolness carries clarity. Midday heat distorts distant outlines in shimmering waves. Evening brings shadowed stillness. Time of day changes mood. Archaeological records indicate that offerings were once placed near its base. Fragments of small statues and altars discovered nearby suggest acts of devotion beyond royal restoration campaigns. Reverence accumulates quietly. Even after political systems transformed, individuals continued interacting with the monument in personal ways. Travelers carved inscriptions in later periods, leaving marks of presence, sometimes careless, sometimes reverent. Human beings seek connection with endurance. The Sphinx's surface carries these traces, though conservation efforts now discourage further alteration. Modern visitors engage through photography rather than carving, capturing memory instead of inscribing it. Interaction evolves. In academic circles, discussions sometimes return to a simple but profound question. What compelled ancient builders to devote such effort to this form? The pyramids are tombs. Their purpose is funerary and clear. The Sphinx, by contrast, functions symbolically without internal chamber or burial. Its purpose is representational. Representation can carry power equal to structure. A visible guardian at the edge of sacred ground communicates authority immediately. It signals that the realm it oversees is protected not only physically but cosmically. Image reinforces ideology. In Egyptian belief systems, maintaining order against chaos was constant duty. The desert beyond cultivated land symbolized unpredictability. The Sphinx, positioned at this threshold, may embody controlled strength at boundary between order and wilderness. Boundary defines civilization. Beyond practical interpretation, there remains aesthetic choice. Why this scale? Why carve directly from bedrock instead of assembling separate blocks? Carving downward binds monument to earth irreversibly. It cannot be relocated or dismantled without destroying itself. Immobility becomes statement. It declares permanence by refusing transportability. Unlike statues moved into museums, the Sphinx remains anchored to origin. Its context is inseparable from its form. Place matters. Geologists emphasize that the limestone ridge selected for carving had variable quality. Some layers were more prone to erosion from the outset. Builders accepted these limitations, working within natural stratification. Adaptation reflects intelligence. Rather than seeking perfect stone elsewhere, they shaped what existed. This decision ties monument intimately to geology of plateau. It belongs to its ground. Scholars examining quarry marks note that extracted blocks from the enclosure correspond dimensionally to those used in adjacent temple construction. This suggests integrated planning rather than spontaneous artistry. Integration implies coordination. Large labor forces required administrative organization. Food supplies, housing, tools, and oversight reflect centralized governance capable of sustained effort. Monument emerges from system. That system, in turn, reflects political stability of Old Kingdom Egypt at its height. Monumentality expresses confidence. When authority is secure, it invests in stone. Stone records stability. Yet centuries after its creation, sand reclaimed it repeatedly. Even powerful dynasties could not prevent nature's cycles. Impermanence shadows permanence. The Sphinx's partial burial across eras may have protected it from more extensive human alteration. Sand, though agent of erosion, also shielded lower sections from vandalism. Protection arrives unpredictably. In modern times, Large-scale excavations fully exposed the body. With exposure comes vulnerability. Conservation must now compensate for protection once provided by drifting dunes. Exposure demands care. The face, carved high above enclosure floor, endured less burial but more wind abrasion. Its features softened gradually. Erosion erased fine detail first, leaving broader forms intact. Detail fades before structure. This pattern mirrors memory itself. Sharp specifics dissolve while overarching impressions remain. Memory sculpts perception. The Sphinx has become mental image for millions who have never visited Egypt. Its silhouette is recognizable instantly, detached from original context yet retaining gravity. Recognition fosters continuity. Archaeological debates continue quietly in academic publications. Field studies refine models of weathering processes. Remote sensing technologies improve mapping precision. Inquiry remains ongoing. Yet none of these efforts diminish experiential core. A colossal hybrid form reclining at edge of desert, facing sunrise without blinking. Stillness persists. As we move even further, not toward resolution, but toward deeper awareness, we begin to see that the mystery of the Sphinx is not merely a historical puzzle. It is an enduring encounter between human curiosity and silent stone, repeated across centuries without exhausting either. If you imagine the first moment after the final carving strokes were completed, the plateau would not have been silent. There would have been voices, movement, ritual gestures. Freshly cut limestone reflects light differently than weathered stone. The surface would have appeared brighter, sharper, more defined against the desert horizon. Newness has a glow. The paws would have been crisp at the edges. The lines of the headdress clean and angular. The body, newly revealed from bedrock, would have carried a texture still bearing subtle marks of tools. Color, too, would have been present pigments applied carefully to enhance visibility and symbolism. Color changes perception of power. A red-tinted face beneath blue and gold bands of anenes would have projected vitality. The eyes may have been accentuated with paint, intensifying the forward gaze. Under rising sunlight, such details would have caught and reflected brilliance. Brightness communicates presence. Ritual consecration likely accompanied completion. Priests may have burned incense at its base, spoken invocations aligning monument with divine forces. Offerings would have formalized its role within sacred landscape. Stone becomes sacred through ceremony. The transformation from carved rock to divine guardian requires acknowledgement within belief system. Ritual seals intention into matter. Over centuries, rituals change, yet stone endures beyond the ceremonies that once defined it. As dynasties shifted, interpretations layered atop original meaning. The Sphinx adapted without physically altering its posture. Meaning evolves while form remains. This adaptability contributes to its longevity. A monument rigidly tied to narrow symbolism might lose relevance across eras. The Sphinx's hybrid ambiguity allows reinterpretation. Ambiguity sustains survival. When foreign rulers governed Egypt, they did not dismantle it. Instead, They integrated it into their own frameworks of authority. Its presence validated continuity rather than threatened it. Continuity legitimizes power. Modern scholarship approaches the Sphinx through evidence, yet even evidence does not dissolve wonder. Measurement provides dimension, but not motive. Analysis reveals composition, but not inspiration. Inspiration resists excavation. Why did someone envision a lion with a human face at that exact location? We can propose plausible answers rooted in theology and politics. Yet the imaginative leap remains extraordinary. Vision precedes chisels. Before labor began, someone conceived the idea. Perhaps a royal architect standing atop the ridge imagined shape within stone. Perhaps advisors debated proportions. Perhaps sketches were drawn on papyrus long since vanished. Ideas rarely fossilize. The Sphinx, therefore, embodies not only technical skill, but creative audacity. It required confidence to reshape landscape at that scale. Confidence manifests in stone. Even today, large-scale carving projects are rare due to cost and complexity. That ancient society achieved such work without steel tools or mechanized equipment testifies to disciplined organization. Discipline leaves legacy. Yet despite its monumentality, the Sphinx does not overwhelm through aggression. It does not tower vertically like a challenge to sky. Instead, it reclines, grounded. Grounded strength feels different from towering ambition. This distinction may be deliberate. The pyramids reach upward. The Sphinx stretches forward. Together, they create visual dialogue between ascent and endurance. Architecture converses silently. Scholars often analyze pyramid alignment relative to cardinal directions. The Sphinx introduces dynamic element of gaze and orientation, not just spatial but directional. Gaze implies awareness. Of course, stone does not see. Yet the sculpted eyes create illusion of attention. This illusion triggers response in observers. Humans are sensitive to faces. Even stylized forms activate recognition. Recognition invites relationship. Standing beneath its face, one may feel observed. That sensation arises not from mysticism, but from cognitive wiring attuned to facial features. Psychology meets archaeology. The monument, therefore, operates on multiple levels, simultaneously geological object, artistic creation, political symbol, cognitive trigger. Multiplicity deepens mystery. As centuries passed, wind carved subtle ridges along its flanks. Microfractures widened slowly. Sand accumulated, retreated, returned again. Cycles repeat without memory. Human history around it accelerated. New religions emerged, languages transformed, empires expanded and collapsed. The Sphinx remains spatial constant amid temporal flux. Constancy shapes narrative. It becomes anchor point in storytelling. Authors describe it watching armies march past. Though metaphorical, the image captures real continuity of location. Location grounds myth. Excavation photographs from the 19th century reveal teams of workers clearing massive drifts. Their labor re-exposed length forgotten by living memory. That act of rediscovery renewed global fascination. Rediscovery revitalizes heritage. Archaeological discipline itself matured alongside such projects. Early explorers sometimes removed artifacts hastily. Later generations refined methodology, documenting context carefully. Methodology evolves. Today, research around the Sphinx emphasizes preservation above extraction. Knowledge gained through scanning rather than digging reduces risk. Caution replaces conquest. The monument has become classroom for conservation science. Lessons learned here apply to other sites worldwide. Techniques for stabilizing porous limestone, controlling moisture, and monitoring structural stress inform global heritage practice. One monument influences many. Beyond physical conservation, intellectual preservation matters too. Misinformation circulates easily in digital era. Scholars engage publicly to clarify evidence-based conclusions while acknowledging open questions. Clarity combats distortion. Yet even debates framed sharply often circle same core fascination. How could such a form endure for so long? Endurance stems from combination of intention, material, environment, and ongoing care. Care ensures continuity. Future generations will inherit not only stone, but interpretation. The Sphinx will likely face new climatic pressures, new technologies, new narratives. Narrative never ceases. Perhaps in centuries to come, researchers will analyze our conservation methods as part of its layered history. Our scaffolding, our chemical treatments, our digital models all become chapters in its story. We too leave traces. Thus, the Sphinx is not frozen in past. It is dynamic participant in unfolding human relationship with memory. Memory shapes identity. Standing before it today, one might feel both small and connected. Small in face and millennia. Connected through shared curiosity, linking modern observer to ancient builder. Curiosity bridges time. The mystery persists not because answers are entirely absent, but because each answer opens further dimensions of inquiry. The Sphinx invites patience, invites sustained attention rather than hurried conclusion. Attention reveals layers. And as we continue moving gently deeper, not to resolve, but to observe, the monument remains anchored to its bedrock, facing the horizon as it has for thousands of years. While questions rise and settle like drifting sand around its enduring form. And now, as our journey across the Giza Plateau begins to slow, you can almost feel the desert air settling around you. The wind that once carved grains of sand across limestone grows quiet. The vastness that stretches beyond the monument softens into stillness. We began with a question, not just when it was built or by whom, but why such a presence was brought into being at all. We moved through layers of stone and scholarship, through erosion patterns and astronomical alignments, through temples, pigments, and shifting interpretations. We traced how geology shaped possibility, how belief shaped form, and how time reshaped both. Again and again, the same truth surfaced gently. The Sphinx is not only an object of the past, it is an encounter between imagination and evidence, between permanence and decay, between the desire for certainty and the acceptance of mystery. We saw how its body was revealed by removal, how its face has watched thousands of sunrises without moving, how sand buried and uncovered it like breath rising and falling across centuries. We explored how scholars measure its angles, how engineers protect its stone, how storytellers project meaning onto its silence. And through all of it, one thing remained unchanged. It waits. Not in suspense, not in secrecy, but in patience. The Sphinx does not rush to explain itself. It does not correct theories or confirm legends. It simply exists carved from bedrock, facing the horizon, participating in the long rhythm of Earth's turning. Perhaps that is its deepest lesson, that not all mysteries demand resolution. Some invite reflection. As you let your thoughts rest, imagine the first light of morning touching its weathered face. Imagine the countless dawns before and after this one. Empires have come and gone. Languages have risen and faded. Yet the sun continues to rise in the east, and the Sphinx continues to greet it. If you are still awake, you might carry with you that image, the calm outline of lion and human merged, stretched along the earth, silent yet immense. And if sleep is beginning to arrive, let the horizon soften. Let the stone grow distant. Let the desert quiet wrap around your thoughts. There is nothing left to solve tonight. Only the steady presence of something ancient, something patient, something that reminds us how small a single lifetime is and how beautiful it can be to stand, even briefly, in the shadow of something that endures. If you found peace in this exploration, you may wish to like, subscribe, or leave a quiet thought below, so other wandering minds can find their way here as well. For now, let your breathing slow, let your body soften, and let the mystery of the Sphinx drift gently into the background, like sand settling beneath a calm, endless sky. Sleep well, and good night.